If you don't know by now, there's a huge issue with Steven Crowder and Vox, and that mainly had to do with Carlos Maza that started this whole entire thing. He's saying that Steven harassed him, that he was making a bunch of different slurs that he didn't agree with, and it was very hateful, that he was generally a hateful person. After that, a lot of different conservatives and, in a sense, journalists that really were on the right or the left, they were just kind of like a centrist, they were getting in trouble for that. They were getting in trouble for no reason because all of a sudden he had that issue with Vox.
His stuff isn't for everyone, but so? If you don't like his videos, watch Colbert. It's a free country, or it used to be. The press is working to change that. A few days ago, a writer at Vox.com demanded that YouTube ban Steven Crowder. Why? For the crime of insulting him. Amazingly, many in the Washington press corps agreed. You shouldn't be allowed to mock talentless Vox writers, they said. Apparently, it's a new addition to the First Amendment. Turns out the Vox writer in question is hardly a sympathetic figure. Hardly. He's got a long history of leveling racist attacks online. He's called for physically assaulting people he disagrees with politically, even as he whines about being oppressed himself. He is, in other words, a classic archetype on the left. He's a fascist posing as a victim. No sensible adult would take him seriously. And yet YouTube is obeying his commands. The company announced it will demonetize Steven Crowder's YouTube channel, killing his business. They did this even though in a statement they admitted that Crowder had broken no rules. Vox, amazingly, meanwhile, released a series of statements demanding that YouTube censor Crowder entirely, not just demonetize him, but bounce him off. So much for freedom of the press.
We need to be able to talk to each other, from the right, from the left. And I'm serious. It kind of sounds a little bit funny because everything that's happening in our country, and you might hate Trump so much, you might think he's Orange Man bad or whatever, convinced by maybe Ben and Jerry's ice cream or something back in the day. I don't know. Okay, I don't know. I don't care. But the thing is that we live in this country. We're here together. We have different political viewpoints. We need to get along. And I'm just saying this from a viewpoint if I was talking to the left. I'm sure a lot of people that watch me are like, what are you saying, Michaela? Like, why are you saying this? It's that I do think that if you stumble upon this and you see this and you're from the other side, it's very important. We need to have understanding more of that. If we can understand the left and the left can understand the right, it would be a lot better at least. And I think that a lot of people do, and that is good. But generally, if you think about, the whole entire mainstream media and what they're pushing out and the people that are working for them, everybody that's being influenced in our society because of that, it's a huge problem that definitely needs to be taken care of or things are going to get kind of, zigzag. For example, without any understanding at all, you just have people that are going to fight. So, for instance, with Carlo Maza deciding to do what he wanted to do, calling out YouTube to try to demonetize Steven Crowder's channel, everybody else's channel under the sun that's basically like a conservative. I mean, a lot of people were targeted, and they're not from the left. They aren't. It's not a coincidence anymore. At first, you really could be like, okay, this is maybe a coincidence, but over time, and you can see everything adding up, who's getting banned, what they're doing on who's getting banned, what they're saying when they're getting banned, everything starts adding up, and everybody that's doing this, like from big tech, all the big people that are pulling all the strings and they're making everything happen, they don't even realize either because they're not involved with social media. They're probably way too busy to even be on there more than like 20 minutes to an hour a day. Think about everything they'd have to do. No, they don't care. If not, the majority of people, they're older and they can't even keep up with that. Then, literally, you had hundreds of employees from Vox Media walk out yesterday. And they were walking out because they didn't have, enough wages. They didn't think that was that high. I mean, I think it's because, they were smeared in the media. Think about what they did to Gab, what they do to Minds. And they like to smear companies that are literally trying to fight for our freedom of speech to make it better for us online. But instead, think about the bad guys now and what happens to them. What happens to Vox? They get smeared too. So then, they react negatively, and then it all goes down for them. And it doesn't go in their favor how they expected things it would be. Like, it totally goes in a different route. But to be honest, it's not exactly sure that Vox employees did that just because they were mad at, what Carlos said exactly politically. I think it's more that it was a chance to try to get their wages up, try to do that, of course, and get their hourly wages up so that they could do that, or like, their salary in general and what they're making for the company. Then afterwards, it was more about, try to also get more of a recognition for what they're doing and get different benefits. If they could get more benefits and more benefits for them, and even some subcontract work, then it'll all be a little bit better in the end because they got something out of that. So of course, when Vox News is failing in the media, which is a perfect time for them to try to do that. Sounds horrible, but yeah, when their own company is failing, it's a good time to maybe ask for a raise, because when are they going to do that? I don't know. Kind of a weird thing. It's not like I exactly agree with that, but yeah, that is the deal. I bet Carlos didn't think that his employees were going to end up walking out right after he had pulled that whole entire stunt. I didn't think that. I didn't think that was going to happen at all, but all of a sudden that happens. Wow, it kind of fits in perfect with the whole entire situation and what he really deserves in the whole entire end. Because I think that if you do want to take away people's freedom, what they can say, even if it's Steven Crowder, even if he has the money to back himself up, and it's not going to be like how it would be totally to somebody that didn't have that kind of money to back themselves up, because not everybody has a lawyer side, not everybody has the money to fight back, not everybody has the public attention, all the followers that are needed. So it is, okay for him. I wouldn't say okay for him to, be in the situation what's happening to him. It's not fair at all. It's not fair to happen to anybody. But being Crowder, it is kind of, I'd say, a little bit better off than the average person. Like right now with me, if that happened to me, that would be awful because I would not have that kind of public attention. I would be just ruined right away. And it's horrible to think of, but hey, I guess that's how it is. I don't know. It's weird to think that that is how I guess things can be if we don't change anything, if we don't have any second chances at all. But if we just want to go this whole entire route, look what's going on. Look at everybody that's been kicked off of YouTube, had their lives ruined. We have to progress in the future. Okay, people, they want to have that Andrew Yang guy, right? Okay. And what was he saying? He said that, robots are going to take over and they're going to take over our whole entire country and yada, 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 okay? So if people do actually want to make robots, it's just one situation, but if they do, then we have to have more jobs later on, meaning that makes us work with technology and have jobs kind of like this where we talk, or graphic design, web development, a lot of different categories that weren't really popular a long time ago. Now they're popular ever since the internet has been made, and they're turned into different kind of jobs that now we have. So therefore, if you have people pushing others out of the marketplace because they don't agree with their political viewpoint, wow, is that really a world to live in? Even if you match that viewpoint, even if you do, is that a world you really want to live in and do to other people? You don't have to do that, so why would you go to that extreme? But yeah, going back to robots, it's okay, you have artificial intelligence, you have, all kinds of different robots now that are thinking for themselves. They're getting very developed in the way that they can move and run, and they can jump over things, way faster. They're fast as a cheetah, and it's crazy. It's very abnormal and weird. So yeah, way crazier than a transformer or something. And you have to think about that though. You have to think about how that's going to affect the future and all kinds of issues and whatnot. But yeah, okay, so We have robots and we have that. But we can't compete online. We can't have our own independence to have our own companies and start that up. Of course you can, but if you want to speak out once or not follow the whole entire leftist agenda that's always changing every single day. So even if you do want to play by the rules, you better keep up, because apparently it could literally change by the hour, by the day. They can go through your old videos and they can say that all of a sudden they don't agree with that video. They don't agree with the video that you had like back years ago, and you have no control because they didn't give you a warning, and then all of a sudden your whole entire channel is deleted. On that note, I'm gonna head out, but I'm gonna have another video coming very shortly, so you can check out some other videos. There's a lot going on there, and I'll check you next time.